Live to Canberra now. Nationals Senator Matt Canavan joins me live now. Matt Canavan, thank you for your time. Llew O'Brien, what's the lesson here? Quit the party room and you could be rewarded with a $40,000 pay rise too, courtesy of the taxpayer?
Oh, well, look, Laura, this was a fairly unusual circumstance of events yesterday. Look, it's disappointing. I'm not a member of the House of Representatives, though, so it's their call to elect somebody. I'm just sad that Lew's no longer a member of the Nationals Party. He is a great mate, and he's made his decision, and the House of Reps have made their decision. It's not going to have any great ramifications, I'm sure, for parliamentary democracy. Things will keep ticking along.
Well, he does remain a member of the LNP. He's made his views clear, and by that action, he's made his views pretty clear on what he thinks of Michael McCormack. Did you consider doing the same?
You mean running for Deputy Speaker in the House of Representatives?
I mean, not sitting in the Nationals party room, but remaining a member of the LNP.
No. Look, I'm very proud of the Nationals Party, and I think the reasons for the Nats to exist are more apparent now than ever before. We have a very concentrated population in our major cities. The views of our major cities are sometimes very different from those out in the bush. I'm not saying they're better or worse, they're just different. The priorities are different, the challenges are different out in the bush, and if anything, we need a louder amplifier and a louder voice down here in Canberra to make sure we deliver results for those people who don't necessarily have the services, the infrastructure, the job opportunities as exist in major cities.
Your views are pretty clear, and you do put them forward quite forcefully. You're now unshackled. You're not a member of the cabinet. You are a backbencher, so you are able to speak out more perhaps than you used to. What do you plan to do with this newfound status?
Well, look, Laura, I'm really excited about being a Senator for Queensland. It's a great honour. I never thought I'd be here. I grew up in working class suburbs of Logan and never thought there'd be a pathway to the National Parliament for me. But I was lucky enough to be here. I pinch myself sometimes, and it's a great honour to be a cabinet minister for 4 years, and now I've got a job to do as a senator for Queensland. It's a great job. It's a very important job, and that's what I'll focus on. And specifically, what I'll focus on is trying to fight for those that are under attack. There's a lot of people who are attacking our agricultural industry, saying we shouldn't grow things anymore. There's a lot of people attacking our manufacturing industry, saying we shouldn't make things anymore. And there's a lot of people, of course, attacking our mining industry, saying we shouldn't dig things up anymore. Now, I think we should continue to do all those things because they provide great jobs, great opportunities, and a chance for people to provide a better future for their children. So that's what I'll be turning my attention to fight for. You're right, I've got more capacity to focus on those issues 100%, and I'll be throwing myself into that.
Yeah, you've also got more capacity, I guess, to disagree with the official party stance from the government and from within the National Party. Do you expect that you'll be doing that a fair bit? You just said you want to defend people that are under attack. Who's attacking them, and is your leader doing enough?
Well, look, it's mainly it's these well-financed environmental organisations. There's this creeping environmentalism coming over our society, and we all want a balanced environment, but some of the restrictions and regulations placed on people on the land who actually live in the environment make no sense, and that's what needs to be fought back on. Now, could the government be doing more on this? Absolutely, we could,
like what?
And that's what I'll be pushing for. But I don't think I'll come to that. But I don't expect any at this stage to be disagreeing with government policy. All of these things are more about direction and speed. And so that's what I hope to do, is try and speed those things up. In terms of like what? Well, we've got a review of the Federal Environmental Law, the EPBC Act this year. I hope we take forward significant reform, because that Act is not working for people who want to grow and develop this country. In particular, Indigenous Australians in Cape York who want to have a sort of similar economic base that we all enjoy in other parts of the country. They are locked up in ribbons of green tape at the moment that stops them from developing their own land. 25 years ago, we gave Indigenous Australians land rights back. We gave them native title back, and we spent the next 25 years slowly taking it away from them again and just giving it to bureaucrats in departments and environments around the country.
Okay, well, Collinsville is something that you have been quite passionate in advocating for. The feasibility study has finally been commissioned. Why do you think it is feasible when the market has essentially said it's not?
Well, a couple of things, Laura. Well, it's not me that thinks it's feasible. There's two major studies being done in the last few years saying it stacks up. Both have been commissioned by Labor governments. Wayne Swan commissioned one in 2013. GHD reported that this power station would put strong downward pressure on prices and would make money. A few years later, the Queensland Labor government, their Department of Energy, commissioned a report that similarly found it would be highly profitable.
Why do we need this one?
Now, one of the issues... Sorry?
Well, why do we need this new $4 million feasibility study?
I'm not saying we don't need other coal-fired power stations. One of the reasons why this one stacks up, though, is because it's right next door to a very high-quality coal resource that we export overseas. So the coal does get burnt. It just gets burnt in other countries to create jobs there. And we don't have a power station. We don't have a baseload 24-hour-a-day power station north of Rockhampton, where I live. But there's a lot of country north of Rockhampton, and there's no way of keeping the lights on permanently in that part of the state. So there is a lot of reasons why we need this. Now, there is a problem at the moment because the market is distorted with a lot of government involvement, a lot of government interference, and the risk of policy change in the future, particularly around carbon emissions. And that's why there's a need for government involved. That's coalition policy. I know there's some out there in the coalition backbench, they're welcome to their views saying there shouldn't be government interference in electricity markets. Well, we've got the Underwriting New Generation Investment Scheme. That's government investment in the energy system. We're investing billions of dollars in Snowy 2, which I fully support, but that is government investment in the power system. And of course, we provide billions of dollars in subsidies to renewable energy. That is government investment in our energy system too.
Okay, if this study comes back though and says it's not feasible, will you accept that?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we don't fund these things with an answer in mind. As I say, there's a strong a priori case there, given those other studies are high-level ones, admittedly. What we are funding here is a detailed business case to look at the engineering, the detailed design, and the financial needs for such a power station. So let's wait and see what that comes back with. Okay,
we've seen just in the last 24 hours as well, keeping the ageing Liddell coal-fired power station open in New South Wales is going to cost some $300 million, and there still could be power outages. That doesn't seem like the best use of taxpayer funds, does it?
Well, look, I'll let the Energy Minister talk more about it. What I would say is I do think we should consider new coal-fired power stations in the Hunter Valley too. We shouldn't just be closing our mind to it. Maybe there is a case for an upgrade at Liddell. You'd have to look through the figures in detail. But as you say, if you start to get up to around $300 million, and I saw a figure of almost $1 billion to keep it open for a few more years, well, you know, a new coal-fired power station is about $2 billion and will last you 50 years. So you know, there is that I think needs to be weighed up. There was a proposal to the government last year from Vales Point, the owner of Vales Point, to build or to effectively build a new coal-fired power station there. And in that case, we'd get a new high-efficiency, low-emission coal-fired power station that can lower emissions and guarantee those jobs in the Hunter Valley for decades, not just for a few more years.
Well, you're about to go into your Nationals party room meeting this morning there in Canberra. It's still a pretty divided party, would you say? What do you want to hear from Michael McCormack?
Well, look, I want to see us come together and unite. Obviously, it was a rough week in the office last week, but there's always silver linings, and I'm always a person who tries to look at the good things that come out of things, and you know, a lot of people have expressed their views now that they had. You know, it's good for footy teams sometimes to have a bit of a heart-to-heart and get up and tell people what they think of each other, and you can get on with it after that. Now we've had Lou leave us, which is sad, but you know, I hope Mike will now just focus on uniting everybody, bringing people together. We don't want to lose any more, and we've got a job to do. But
you want him to protect coal. You wanted him to sell the Nationals' credentials, and your policy is a lot stronger. Is there any sign that he's done that?
Well, I just say they're not. While I support the policies, I'm not saying he needs to sell my policies. He's the leader. He's got the right to determine his own policies.
But you're fully behind him now, even though this is not the outcome you wanted.
I fully support him as leader. fully support him as leader, but obviously I want to see the Nationals Party forthrightly stick up for people in the bush. It's not just on coal, that's one subset, but it's on the Murray-Darling Basin. It's ridiculous that farmers these days are treated like criminals just for they have the temerity to take some water out of a river and want to grow food for people. We're a great agricultural nation, and people who have developed this country in towns like Griffith and Mildura and Shepparton need to be supported, and we've got to stand up for them and push back against this agenda that wants to shut this country down.
Okay, Matt Canavan, thanks so much for your time. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Laura. Have a good day.